Why can't we be equal? Why do you feel superior to me?
Let me ask you this. Do you want a man that's taller than you?
Yeah.
Would you prefer a man that's stronger than you physically?
Yes, I do.
Would you prefer a man that can lead you?
Absolutely.
Would you prefer a man that's more competent and more intelligent than yourself?
I just said that. I
Yeah?
can't
Doesn't sound
disagree.
anything equal there to me.
Ouch. But what if I am strong?
You're not. That means that we are not equal.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not. But don't.
said
Oh,
a second ago
God.
that
Okay, all right.
Got him.
Got me.
So guys, this video is important. I know I said the Sam Harris analysis would be coming soon, but I thought that I should get this video over with because it's a very important bit of analysis, and it's also, to me, I don't know how you guys are going to react to this. Let me know in the comments. This is a little bit depressing to see the state of modern women, not just because I feel bad for them, but because this mentality that is being cultivated and allowed, not discouraged basically, this mentality of women to embrace degeneracy and anti-truth is not being discouraged enough by other women and generally in the culture. And it's degrading society. It's doing damage to the fabric of civilization. And yes, obviously we did beat this psychopathic anti-reality feminine predisposition in the election when basically all the masculine heroes of Earth won, and now they're about to be governing the most powerful country on Earth in 6 days. But the fact that there are still women like this that walk around, it tells us that there's a deep sickness to our society that, frankly, I don't think we've ever seen before in any civilization before. Like in Rome or in Greece, I genuinely doubt that women walked around saying that their biggest problem with the Constitution is that it doesn't allow women to kill enough babies. I genuinely don't believe that in Rome, in Greece, in Sparta, in Athens, in the Persian Empire, anywhere, that this was real. I don't think this existed. And we have women that believe themselves to be civilized, walking around in polite society, drinking their, $8 lattes, and all their friends love them. They're living seemingly normal lives, and yet they walk around in their heads thinking that the Constitution needs to let women kill infants or, other things going on. I'll let the video play.
So if you guys could change the Constitution in one way, how would you change it?
Her first gov major.
Okay, so this woman goes to college to study this.
I was literally going to say legalize abortion.
Maybe abortion laws,
Rights to abortion.
Like, this is where their minds go. When you say, what do you want to change? It's not increase freedom. It's not, move away from communism, which should be the most basic level low-hanging fruit to realize in the 21st century, after what happened in the 20th century, the total disaster. And this is what I mean. It's destitute. There's a destitute blankness behind these eyes, an uneducated blankness that's undermined too by a deep, unfathomable resentment.
Like transgender rights to have surgery.
I can really see it a lot in this girl's face for some reason. This girl definitely hates Elon Musk. She hates masculine competence. She can't stand accountability. That's not uncommon for women, but especially with this one.
Without necessarily parental consent. Yes, you have freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean you have right to sit there and scream at someone because they choose to change their gender or they love the same sex, things like that.
So should we add trans rights to the Constitution?
Absolutely.
Definitely adding in policies that make healthcare more accessible for immigrants as well as people in low-income communities.
So this woman actually believes, she actually genuinely said that her priority would be to change the Constitution to give free healthcare to immigrants. This guy sums it up well, Richard Cooper. Women are obsessed with killing babies, free healthcare for immigrants, and trans rights. Where did we go wrong? A lot of people on X are saying that we went wrong by giving the women the right to vote. Here, let me turn on this light for you guys so that you can maybe let me know if you like this better. But I disagree. I think that it's necessary to let women vote, not because their ideas are necessarily cogent and valuable, but because part of full actualization of the individual on a deep philosophical substrate requires this, in the same way that I could very easily make an argument Just like people make an argument for why we shouldn't let women vote, I can make an argument around why most men shouldn't be able to vote either, because they're driven by resentment, or they don't know anything, or they actively live lives that are destructive to themselves. So why would we let them shape society in any way? And it's very easy to make that argument. However, it's the wrong model to only let, for instance, landowners or taxpayers vote in America, because that undermines the truths which the founding fathers held to be self-evident. That was a revolutionary idea that pushed the world forward by centuries. That's the reason America is a gleaming light of the world. And so I don't think the correct solution is to prevent women from voting, as some people are saying. Like Myron makes the point often that, look at society, we shouldn't, Myron from the Fresh and Fit podcast, like, why do we let women vote? And the evidence they push is this. But I think instead the solution has to be, this is important, in the 21st century, women have to come to an understanding that if they're going to insist that they're going to compete with men in competence hierarchies, they have to come to a technical understanding of the realities of those competence hierarchies. They have to accept objective reality, and they have to be willing to either accept the fact that they will be held to the same standards and therefore be held accountable as individuals, and therefore they won't be able to demonize accountability, or they can reject individuality and accountability as is the feminine way and not be viewed as the same as men. That doesn't mean that they're not valuable, but they will not be viewed the same as men. Right now, in the 21st century, currently, women are not viewed the same as men because they reject the accountability that is necessary to compete in dominance hierarchies, in competence hierarchies, in capitalism. And women are upset because they're like, why aren't men looking at us as equal as we sell our assholes for $4.99 on OnlyFans? It's like, so yeah, you're not equal to the guy that started a company and managed to list it on the NASDAQ, and now he's rich and you make millions of dollars a month on OnlyFans. You guys aren't the same. Oh, but why aren't we the same? Because you sell yourself for less than a Chipotle burrito. There is an adjustment that fundamentally is going to revolve around women accepting objective reality, coherent frameworks, and accountability that I think will lead to a correction, not through a changing of their internal nature, because that's not possible and that's not what I think is going to happen, but through an accepting of the fact that their nature is to say nonsense like this. When women accept that their nature is to say nonsense, like we need to give free health care to immigrants, or the Constitution should guarantee minors' ability to sex change, when they know that their predisposition is to say things that don't make sense, we can make progress as a civilization. And women on the right, you can help lead the charge in this, because most of you are married. Most of you have husbands, and you know what things are like when you're not around your husband. You know that your husband is more rational than you. You know what you rely on him to do for you. And I can speak to this because I understand these psychological models and have studied them profusely, but you don't have to do that. You can just know from experience too if you're a woman and you're married. So when you see single women like this that are driven by what we would call neurotic anxiety or high trait openness, high trait agreeability, meaning you're easily suggestible, you're easily to convince of things using emotion, and you end up saying stuff like this, you can understand why that's happening. This is a very important concept. I truly believe that 21st century is about overcoming female degeneracy, and that will happen only as a result of understanding psychological landscapes, psychological personality distributions, basically an objective understanding of reality, which we're very far from. I'll be honest. We're very far from it because while we do have geniuses providing lectures for free on this topic like Andrew Huberman and Jordan Peterson, we also have the Whatever podcast, we also have the Fresh and Fit podcast, where it's clear to see that women feel very comfortable in their degeneracy and anti-reality sentiment. And I think the generation of women that will be born in about 10 to 20 years will have an opportunity to look at their old, single, unhappy, miserable, anxious grandmothers who sold themselves for less than a Chipotle burrito, and they'll make a decision of, do I want to be like my grandmother? Because what happened is these women that are selling themselves, these women that demonize objective reality and masculinity and say they don't need a husband, they'd rather work for a boss and work 80 hours a week to do who knows what they're doing is they're rebelling against their grandmothers who were submissive wives, were very feminine, were housewives, etc. And they said, I don't want to do that because I need to be a boss queen. So I think that this can correct, but it must correct in this century, because if it doesn't, then human civilization will be fundamentally capped. And I'm sure of this, because if half of the population remains not only not enlightened but shackled by their ignorance combined with an inalienable set of behaviors coming from their feminine personality, then everybody is held back by this. Men look, it's not. I'm not saying men are better. We've just had thousands of years, the patriarchy has run civilization literally since we came down from the tree, since we left the caves, because it was clear men led society. And we're going to continue to lead society, but women are saying, oh, we want to be viewed as equal now because there's stuff like birth control and air conditioning and prosperous societies, and I can make money by pretending as though I work part-time, being an HR assistant or whatever, working from home as a drinking $8 latte. It's a different world than the world we came from, where the man had to go out and bring back meat and gather resources. Fine, but you have to then enlighten yourself using objective information. This is a very important concept, very important. I could play this clip of female degeneracy on the Fresh and Fit podcast. This is what I mean by this is just depression.
Rude, bro. You're getting pressed like relax.
And you're a red coat whore. Get the fuck up out of here, man. You and your failed nation. Go back. Fuck out of here, bitch.
Yeah, that's
jealous of my
like she's talking in a ratchet way. She sells her body. She doesn't see a problem with this.
Nah, get the fuck out of here.
I'm gonna spill the tea on you, Myron.
I'm not gonna say your name, but I know.
What's it we up to, 4?
These dumbass. These red coat country,
That's all
man.
it is.
That's 5.
Yeah, I think I'm.
That's a failed ass fucking country,
That's
man.
all it is. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave.
All right, you get the fuck up out of here too, man. Single moms for the
That's
W.
5.
Get the fuck up out of here.
5.
Get the fuck up out of here, bitch.
Let's go.
Truth is offensive. Like they view objective accountability as offensive. They want to simultaneously be viewed as equal. It is a problem. This is a problem that they will have to overcome. And if they don't overcome, then men, to compensate for this, will just necessarily view women as less. And I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm saying that's what's going to happen. If in this century women don't fix this type of behavior, men will just permanently have to. They will be forced to view women as intrinsically less capable of themselves, in order to make progress. Because men, we've been making progress for thousands of years. It's what we do. It's our purpose. We invent the next iPhone. We invent the next computer. We invent the next piece of technology to make mating easier, to make our lives easier, to bring civilization further, even if that's conquering. And conquering in the new sense means creating companies, because we can't kill each other with swords anymore, so we create companies still for the sake of progress. And in order to continue to do this, if women don't figure out a way to overcome this shit, then there's only one way to look at women, unfortunately. So this is a big problem. Women have to fix this. I appreciate all of you. If you are watching, be sure to subscribe and become a member on Locals. I provide a link in the description because YouTube has demonetized us. So if you want to support us, really appreciate that. See you guys in the next video.